Hey, welcome. Today we are diving into a really fascinating and, let's be honest, pretty provocative vision of Jesus' message, and we're pulling this from the work of the mystic Andrew Harvey. This is really a call to see a story most of us think we know in a completely new and maybe even world-changing light. Okay, so Harvey kicks things off with some serious intensity. He looks at our world right now, all the collapsing systems, the chaos, and he doesn't just see an ending, what he calls a great death. He also sees it as the trigger for a great birth. It's a terrifying idea for sure, but he argues that it is absolutely packed with profound potential.
So, let's unpack that a little bit. First up, we're going to look at this diagnosis of our global crisis, this idea that we're in a moment of both immense death and somehow radical birth.
So what exactly is being born out of all this chaos? Well, Harvey has a name for it, the divine human. And this isn't just some nice poetic idea, he sees it as an actual evolutionary leap. He's talking about the emergence of a totally new kind of humanity, one that's here to actively co-create a new world, guided by divine love and wisdom.
And this brings us right to the heart of this vision, Jesus. But to really get what Harvey's saying, we kind of have to set aside all the traditional frameworks and get ready to see him in a completely different light.
This slide just lays it out so perfectly. On one side, you've got the familiar, unique Son of God, this figure who is separate from us, meant to be worshipped. But on the other side, Harvey presents Jesus as our evolutionary brother, a pioneer whose life wasn't meant to be just admired from a distance, but to be followed as a path of transformation that's available to every single one of us.
And this quote, which Harvey says he received in a mystical vision, really puts the choice in stark terms. He's saying, look, if you see Jesus as separate, history just keeps repeating its same tragic patterns. But if you can recognize that same divine spark inside yourself as your own deepest secret, well, that's the key. That's how you unlock what he calls a revolution of glory.
Okay, so if we're meant to follow this path, what does it actually look like? That brings us to our third part, the path to the divine itself.
Harvey actually draws this map from the ancient Gospel of Thomas, and the path starts just how you might think, with a relentless search. Seek until you find. But check out what comes next. It's not bliss, it's not peace. The second step is that when you find, you will be troubled.
So why on earth would finding something so amazing be troubling? Well, in this view, true self-knowledge demands a radical and, often painful honesty. It means you have to confront not only your own inner darkness, your shadow, but also wake up to the destructive shadow forces that are operating all over the world.
Now, after you move through that really difficult stage of being troubled, the path says you'll marvel and then you will reign over the all. Now, this isn't about worldly power or domination. To reign here means to embody the very same creative and transformative powers that Jesus himself demonstrated, the power to heal, to inspire, and to actively co-create a new reality.
And what is this new reality we're supposed to be co-creating? Well, Section 4 gets into the goal of the path, and it does that by totally challenging the old idea that the kingdom of God is somewhere else, in some other time.
Okay, this is so cool. Get this. A simple shift in language can totally change our understanding. Harvey points to the original Aramaic words that Jesus probably used. The word for come can also mean a nuptial chamber, a place of creative birthing. And kingdom can be translated as queendom, which is connected to the Divine Mother. All of a sudden, thy kingdom come isn't a plea for something far off. It becomes a prayer for a fertile, creative new reality to be birthed right here, right now. And the Gospel of Thomas just reinforces this so powerfully. The kingdom isn't just up in the sky or somewhere else. It's here. It's inside of us and all around us. But the warning is crystal clear. If you don't do the work to know this divine self, you're cut off from all that richness. You live in poverty because you are the poverty.
All right, so all of this is building up to the ultimate purpose of this whole path. And that brings us to Section 5, which defines this kind of enlightenment not as some passive state, but as love in action.
So what makes this vision so different from other spiritual traditions? Well, according to Harvey, Jesus' totally unique revelation was that the ultimate reality isn't just pure consciousness or some peaceful void. It is a burning, passionate, and active love, a love that demands that we make justice and compassion real here in the world.
And this just makes the distinction so clear. Enlightenment, in this view, is not an escape. It's not a spiritual status symbol. No, it is the exact opposite of that. It's about taking your spiritual awakening and plunging it directly into the furnace of the world, to actively transform it.
And, there is no more powerful expression of this idea than these words from the Gospel of Matthew. This path is not some abstract mystical exercise. It finds its ultimate test, its ultimate truth, in simple, concrete acts of compassion. How we treat the most vulnerable person is exactly how we are treating the divine itself.
Harvey gives this whole philosophy a name: sacred activism. It is the synthesis of everything we've just talked about. It's about uniting that deep, transcendent spiritual awakening with the wise, radical, and passionate action we need to heal and transform our world.
And so, this whole vision leaves us with a really challenging question to sit with. Is the goal of a spiritual path to escape the messiness of the world, or is it to find the divine courage to plunge right into that mess and become a force for its transformation?